Making small talk with neighbors. Introduction. Talking to your neighbors can sometimes feel a bit awkward, especially if you don't know them well. However, making small talk with the people who live near you can help build a sense of community and make your neighborhood a friendlier place. Small talk is a way to break the ice, start conversations, and get to know your neighbors better. In this passage, we'll explore different ways to start small talk with your neighbors, the kind of topics you can discuss, and how to keep the conversation going. Whether you're meeting someone for the first time or catching up with a neighbor you've seen many times, these tips can help you become more comfortable with small talk. The importance of small talk. Small talk is more than just idle chatter. It's a way to connect with others, even if the topics are light and simple. For neighbors, small talk can be the beginning of a good relationship. When you know the people who live near you, it can make your community feel safer and more welcoming. You don't need to have deep conversations every time you see your neighbors. Sometimes, just a quick hello or a comment about the weather can be enough to build a connection over time. Starting the conversation. The first step in making small talk with your neighbors is to start the conversation. This might seem difficult, but it's easier than you think. You don't need to say anything complicated or deep. A simple greeting like hello or good morning is a great way to start. If you want to say a bit more, you could try something like, "How are you today?" or "Nice weather we're having." These are simple, friendly ways to open the door to a conversation. If you're meeting a neighbor for the first time, you can introduce yourself. For example, "Hi, I'm your name. I live just across the street." This gives the other person a chance to introduce themselves as well, and from there, you can continue the conversation. Topics for small talk. One of the best things about small talk is that you can talk about almost anything. However, some topics are easier and more comfortable for most people. Here are a few ideas. The weather. The weather is probably the most common small talk topic. It's something everyone experiences, and it's always changing. You can say things like, "It's such a beautiful day, isn't it?" Or, "I can't believe how hot it is today." These kinds of comments are easy for your neighbor to respond to, and they can lead to more conversation. Your neighborhood. Talking about your neighborhood is another easy topic. You might ask, "Have you noticed the new flowers someone planted in the park?" Or, "Did you hear about the block party next weekend?" These kinds of questions show that you're interested in your community, and they can help you learn more about what's going on around you. Pets. If you or your neighbor has a pet, this can be a great topic for small talk. People love talking about their pets, and it's an easy way to find common ground. You could say, "Your dog is so cute. What's his name?" Or, "I see you walking your cat sometimes. She's beautiful." Compliments and questions about pets are often a great way to keep the conversation going. Local events. If there's something happening in your area, like a festival, a market, or a community meeting, you can bring it up in conversation. For example, "Are you going to the farmer's market this weekend?" Or, "Did you go to the concert in the park last night?" These questions can help you learn about your neighbor's interests and possibly discover events you might both enjoy. Keeping the conversation going. Once you've started the conversation, the next step is to keep it going. This can sometimes be the hardest part, especially if you're not sure what to say next. Here are some tips to help you. Ask questions. One of the best ways to keep a conversation going is to ask questions. People usually like talking about themselves, so asking a question shows that you're interested in what they have to say. For example, if your neighbor mentions that they just moved in, you could ask, "Where did you move from?" Or, "How do you like the neighborhood so far?" Share something about yourself. If you want the conversation to be a two-way street, it's important to share a little bit about yourself too. For example, if your neighbor talks about their garden, you could say, "I love gardening too. I just planted some tomatoes." This helps the conversation feel more balanced and gives your neighbor a chance to learn more about you. Use body language. Sometimes your body language can say as much as your words. Smiling, making eye contact, and nodding your head are all ways to show that you're interested in the conversation. Even if you're not sure what to say next, these small gestures can help keep the conversation positive and friendly. Ending the conversation. All conversations eventually come to an end, and it's important to know how to wrap things up in a polite and friendly way. Here are some ways you can do that. A simple goodbye. If you're in a hurry or the conversation is naturally coming to an end, you can simply say, "It was nice talking with you. Have a great day." This lets your neighbor know that you enjoyed the conversation, and it ends things on a positive note. Express interest in future conversations. If you want to leave the door open for future conversations, you might say something like, "I'd love to chat more next time we see each other." This shows that you're open to talking again in the future, which can help strengthen your relationship over time. Mention a follow-up. If you talked about something specific during your conversation, you could mention it again as you say goodbye. For example, if you talked about a local event, you could say, "Maybe I'll see you at the market this weekend." This helps to create a sense of continuity between your conversations. Dealing with awkward moments. Sometimes, small talk doesn't go as smoothly as you'd like. Maybe there's an awkward pause, or you're not sure what to say next. That's okay. Everyone experiences these moments from time to time. Here are a few tips for handling them. Don't worry too much. Remember that it's normal for conversations to have pauses or awkward moments. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to keep the conversation going perfectly. Your neighbor is probably just as understanding as you are. Change the subject. If you feel like the conversation is stuck, you can try changing the subject. For example, if you've been talking about the weather and it seems like the topic is getting old, you could say something like, "By the way, have you tried the new coffee shop on the corner?" Changing the subject can help keep things fresh and interesting. Be honest. If you're not sure what to say, sometimes it's okay to be honest about it. You might say, "I'm not sure what else to say, but it was really nice talking with you." This shows that you're sincere, and it helps end the conversation on a positive note. Building stronger relationships. Small talk is just the beginning. Over time, these short conversations can lead to stronger relationships with your neighbors. The more you talk, the more comfortable you'll become with each other, and you might even find that you have more in common than you thought. Here are some ways to build on your small talk and create stronger connections. Be consistent. The more often you make small talk with your neighbors, the more familiar you'll become with each other. Even if it's just a quick hello every now and then, these small interactions can add up over time. Offer help. If you see that your neighbor needs help with something, like carrying groceries or fixing something in their yard, offer to lend a hand. Acts of kindness can go a long way in building trust and friendship. Participate in community events. Getting involved in neighborhood events is a great way to see your neighbors more often and in a different context. Whether it's a block party, a cleanup day, or a holiday celebration, these events provide more opportunities for conversation and connection. Conclusion. Making small talk with your neighbors might seem like a simple thing, but it can have a big impact on your life and your community. By starting conversations, sharing a little bit about yourself, and showing interest in others, you can build strong relationships with the people who live near you. These connections can make your neighborhood a more welcoming and supportive place to live. So, the next time you see your neighbor, don't be afraid to say hello and start a conversation. Remember, small talk is a skill that gets easier with practice. The more you do it, the more natural it will feel. Keep practicing, and soon you'll find that making small talk with your neighbors is an easy and enjoyable part of your day. Closing wishes. I hope this passage has given you some helpful ideas for making small talk with your neighbors. Remember, the key is to be friendly, open, and willing to start the conversation. With a little practice, you'll become more confident in your ability to connect with the people around you. Good luck with your learning, and I wish you great success in improving your English skills.